I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Today we have an approval of the minutes from September 28th meeting, and they also include some letters that were sent by the public with respect to the Benish driveway. So did you guys have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
I will take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second.
20.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sign, please. Thank you, and there you are. The meeting minutes for October 12th are not available yet, so we will approve those at the next meeting. Thank you. And then we had a non-public on October 12th, RSA 91-A:3, 2A and B, and we are not going to seal these minutes, so I will open them and read the gist of the minutes there. This was a discussion that we had based on the fact that we had $10,000 in the budget for short-term rental which was administration. So we put a new line item in the budget last year, anticipating that we would have to spend some money on the administration of getting short-term rentals to register, etc. We're really proud to say, though, that our staff was able to absorb this and do the job very well and very organized, and so we rewarded them with a $2,000 bonus to Julie Atwell, Julie Hoyt, and to Kevin Bennett for going above and beyond during their jobs to make sure that we were following the rules we set, improving the rules we have, and making notes of ways to keep improving the process. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Julie. And Julie, I know you both are on the phone, and there may be more to follow just as we realize how many people were involved in doing this. We're not ones to lightly spend budget money, but we really felt like it was something that was well-deserved to all of the staff. So that was our decision, and we're really happy to be able to do that. Any questions? Do we need to make a motion to approve these minutes, I guess, too, then, even though we sealed them, right? So, in order to be over efficient.
Add them to the next.
Add them for the next to
minutes.
approve?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we had another non-public on October 20th, which was RSA 91-A:3, 2A, and those will remain sealed, so I'll take a motion to keep those minutes sealed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, sign here, please. All right, item 4. We have a library item. Lycan, are you in the audience? Just looked up and said. Thanks for being here.
Sure. So I hope you've heard, if you haven't heard, we were approached around the beginning of September by the school, by Gail, because she couldn't find a library media specialist for her staff. And so I wrote up, I hope that Julie Atwell forwarded you along the proposal.
Yes.
Okay. So we ironed this out. For my part, I was really concerned about making sure it didn't cost the town or the library budget any money, but we wanted to provide the service. So we quoted them $6,000, which will go mostly to payroll for the increased hours. A little bit probably at the beginning, because we've been doing it since the beginning of school, and I was a little bit worried it wouldn't work out.
Mhm.
So I've been trying to kind of shuffle everybody around to cover the payroll if I had to. So in the beginning, we'll probably use a lot of money for books
Mhm.
to fill in the collections. And after in the springtime semester, it'll be payroll. So I've talked to Tammy and Julie's about how to work that out with the town. But I wanted as a courtesy to come and let you know that it's happening,
Mhm.
and answer any questions that you might have about it.
I don't have questions. I'm really happy that you guys can do it because I think that our library is so incredible. So to be able to have that liaison with the school kids and the library, I think is great. So do you guys have any questions or thoughts?
No, it's just the safety of the kids getting there, obviously, is one issue.
Right, that's one of my concerns too, and now in the autumn, everybody's all gung ho about, yeah, we'll walk every Friday, no problem. I'm like, it's easy to say when it's September. We plan, now that the arrangement is finalized, I plan that if they feel uncomfortable coming, that Meredith or one of the staff, library staff, will go to them, and we'll bring books and materials and do what you do, which is, we basically just talk to the kids. I was very, so the work of a public librarian and school media specialist is really different. That's why they stopped calling it a school librarian. And we were clear with Gail that we wouldn't fill in, because being a school media specialist requires you to do a lot of information literacy, and it's really boring. It's really hard to make it interesting. And we just said to Gail, we just want to teach about library magic. We don't want to do the boring stuff. So that's what we're focusing on. So we're hoping that we can bring some of that to them if necessary, so they don't have to walk in the snow. The other part of it too is that it'll integrate the catalogs of the two libraries, so we can share materials back and forth much more easily. And more important to us is to identify places that the kids don't have the resources they need and what we can fit in. So I'm really excited about it. I've wanted the whole time I've been here to work more closely with the school, and it's hard, kids there to get any foot in the door. So of course, if you come up with any questions, you know where to find me.
So, is this something where if you had some volunteers to help get materials to the school, would that help at all in the times when the kids can't get there, or are there restrictions on that?
Well, volunteers can't go into the school.
Right, but transporting or anything?
We don't really need it, because
Okay.
we sort of share some staff. So we have one staff member works in both places, and she goes back and forth, and
Okay,
Meredith goes back and forth, and I go to the post office. So we do it.
covered.
This part.
Good.
We may need more volunteers on this side of things. Right now, just in the last few months, the circulation of our children's materials has tripled. So we might need more volunteers who can stoop down and get into the lower shelves.
I'm out.
Most people say that.
Right.
But for now, I think it's really great.
Fantastic. All right, I appreciate you bringing that forward too, so we could have knowledge of that. We don't
Yeah,
need to
thanks
make
for
a
doing that.
motion on that since there's no money involved, right? Yes. Appreciate you balancing the budget too. Thanks. So, all right, the second item is a request from the chamber to have a 16-foot Christmas tree being brought in at the town area where we already have a tree. But Jay, did you see that message about cutting down the tree that's there now?
I did.
Any comments or thoughts on whether or not that's, I guess I have to ask all the questions. Any thoughts on whether or not that tree is actually dead and should it be
I
removed?
would talk to Gary Spears on that. He's the one that put it in.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure how much of that was paid and how much of that was volunteered. So I'm not really, I haven't paid much attention, so I know we planted that with Gary. I would talk to Gary. I was gonna, I haven't had a chance to, but
okay,
I would recommend that you talk with Gary about that.
okay.
Do you recall, I'm just
Yeah.
curious, because there was a tree there, and I'm not sure if it's been replaced, what we call the Z tree, Bill Zelliff actually donated the
That's
tree?
long gone.
That's a long gone.
Okay.
Okay. Just
This-
making sure, I
this
wasn't
was
sure
one
if you
that-
guys have replaced it.
That
All right,
got
thank
so
you.
big you couldn't put Christmas lights on
All
it.
right, okay.
Yeah.
And so that went away and we planted a small one up by the gazebo.
Don't need no.
That we were able to take care of, and apparently now they don't like it.
Hmm.
So somebody needs to take on a discussion with Gary about it probably before you go too much about that.
Okay,
How
so
big a tree they want to
the
have?
16-foot tree?
16?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said 60. I was
16,
like,
no, gee, Rockefeller Center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a 16-foot tree, and they want to decorate it, etc., and lighting decorations, etc., and then have it taken down at the end of the season, which I want to make sure we have defined as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll put this on for the next agenda, find out about the tree, and we'll talk to Gary. And you don't want to talk to Gary, I can tell by the look on your face.
I don't mind
You don't
talking to
mind?
him, but a selectman probably has to be involved.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
so I'll talk to you about that. Let me make a note on that one. Talk to
Location of
Gary.
this tree too. I mean,
Yep.
you know, I don't want to take down that tree if we don't have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to Gary and then location. So we will put this on the agenda for the next meeting and make sure we can figure out if we can bring a tree in, where it would go, how long it would stay up, what we need to do with the old tree, if it still can be decorated or salvaged or whatever.
Leave it.
All right, so we'll be in touch with you and Kathleen and get through that.
Is this a planted tree or just a cut tree?
It's a cut tree.
The one there is planted.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next item is a thank you from the Friends of the Library, and I'm not going to read the whole letter, but it's from Melinda and Greg Foley Marcello, and they really just wanted to show their appreciation and thanks for clearing out the Gray's Inn garage and making room for the book sale books for next year. So I will have this attached as an addendum to the minutes, but again, I appreciate Frank, you taking care of it, and Jay and Pat and everybody else who was involved in cleaning out that space. It was obviously a very important initiative to the Friends of the Library, so I appreciate that too. And they were very, very appreciative of that, so thank you. The next is a letter that we are going to send out to Tim DePietro. He wanted to, or he paid for materials and labor for installing 2 exterior receptacles for Christmas lighting, and he donated his services and labor and costs. So this is a letter to thank him for his thoughtfulness and doing this, and he's a new resident of Jackson, so it's really nice to have that resource and a good friend.
I have a job at my house. Is he going to donate
I
for
know,
me?
I was gonna say,
I
I
was just
do a
gonna say,
good
he's my
one
electrician
also.
too, so.
Yeah, he's everybody's great
They do
electrician,
favors.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really nice of
Well,
him.
thank you, Tim.
Yes,
Thanks, Tim.
definitely. Yeah.
Why, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Buy him a cup of coffee when he comes in.
There you go. All right, the next item is a tax rate update, and normally by now we would have received from the DRA our info from Carroll County on how to go about, or what we needed to set our new tax rate. We have not received that information because the DRA has no information from the county yet either. So we should have it by the 11/9 meeting, and I say should have. We're really hoping and it should be there, but fingers crossed. So at that time, we will keep this on the agenda for pending, and we'll be able to have the tax rate update on the next agenda. So in other words, it's not our fault. As soon as it gets there. All right, so the next agenda item is an extended liquor license for the Wentworth, and this is simply an update to the liquor license based on the new owners. So welcome Atlantic Equity Partners, and Tim Brett is the gentleman that initiated this, so we hope that everything goes very smoothly and continues to be a great site in Jackson. So the letter is for an extended liquor license for May 1st through November 7th, 2021. Obviously, it's another couple weeks that they're asking for, and it's for the new Atlantic Equity Partners. And we do have the 3 requirements that the tent walls will be closed as long as any amplified music is playing. Noise levels will not exceed 90 decibels from the center of the tent, and music will not play any later than 10:30 p.m. Questions, thoughts,
It was good.
anything? All right, I'll make a motion to approve this. Take a motion from,
I'll make a
Sorry.
motion. I'll make a
You know what I'm
motion. We
asking.
approve the extended.
Thank you.
liquor license.
And I will second that motion.
all in favor?
Not hers, but I'll take in yours.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sorry,
That's it.
it's really just water in my cup.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's too bad.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next is an intent to cut, and that is on tax map number R16, lot 14. And I will take a motion to approve the intent to cut.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hello?
I said aye.
I didn't hear you.
You didn't hear? No, you're straight fuck this thing.
There you go. Sign of these. All right. The next item on here is Stomp Dump, and do you want to mention that, or just
Yeah,
the
well,
intent?
just to reaffirm what we've already voted on, that, you know, we support the stump dump up there, but we also support the idea of moving it somewhere.
Mhm.
But until it's moved, we have to have a stump dump. I think we've taken that position. So when the Prospect Farm people have done a great job and all the stuff that they've done there, they have a part in there that includes getting rid of the stump dump and maybe making a parking lot. That may well happen at some point, but until we have a solution to where we're going to have a stump dump, we just want to make sure that they're aware of that. That perhaps we can sunset it some way, somehow, but we'll all work towards that point. So I think that's
Right.
all I want to say.
Thoughts?
I think that's a perfect idea. It's gonna happen right away.
Agreed. And we are all environmentally conscious, so
Yeah.
we need to just keep that in mind. All right. The next item is Highway Department personnel. We received notice that Pat Kelly is going to be resigning and moving on to his family business, which we are really excited for Pat to have that opportunity. And other than that, we're really not announcing much else on this agenda item, just to let everyone know that he will be leaving, and we're in the throes of finding replacement and making sure that we're staffed for the winter in our highway department. Thankfully, we have Jay Henry on the staff still, and other folks that we know can hopefully fill in. So we're working on it, but it is public knowledge, so I wanted to make sure that we made it part of the public announcement here. And again, really want to thank Pat for all of his years of service with the town and the job that he's done, and how well he takes care of his equipment and his people. So we'll be more to follow on that one for sure.
And missing him.
Yep. All right, we still have the Valley Crossroad Bridge on the pending item forever. I don't know what we're trying to think of what we're waiting on that one. I guess just the review of some of the drawings and such. And then the fire truck purchase, Jay has been working on that a little bit and has given me information to look at alternative ways to finance the truck, because we can't really accelerate the purchase of it without having town approval, exactly. So we're working on some alternative approaches, and like we talked about, how much the pricing is gonna be, et cetera. So we will put this on pending until the November 9th meeting. Did you have some comments, Jay?
Okay, because the price is gonna change on November 21st.
Right. So November 9th is and we're not having a meeting on the 23rd, so November 9th is gonna be our meeting where we're gonna have to discuss this,
Okay.
okay?
Just for public matters, how much is the price changing, just so everybody knows?
The offer till 11/22 is $636. New update 3 days ago, 4 days ago, whatever it was, a couple days ago, was a 4% increase across the board from one particular truck company, which is probably the lowest price so far. It's 4%, which is $25,440, which is the dealer that we're working with has no control over. It's coming from the manufacturer. So 25 grand
And that's,
in November.
and then they're saying January, possibly another increase, but we don't
Yeah.
know. But then the other thing to consider is that the lead time on this, and we don't have to hopefully put any money down up front, and the lead time to order a new truck is 12 to 14 months. Not to order, for delivery.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Mhm.
I'd call it a year and a half.
Right.
But it sounds like the only option, if you wanted to save the money instead of waiting until March, is to lease.
Right.
Lease type purchase, which you don't have to pay for it when you order it. So by the time it does come, are you gonna need to lease purchase it? Because you might have all the money.
Right, but
So-
but we're looking at the logistics of the lease option, because if we do sign a lease and can order it and follow all the rules, then it's possible that we won't have to borrow any money, and there's no penalty for paying off the lease ahead of time.
$30,000 to a $60,000 savings now over March. I mean, I don't mind waiting, I don't mind buying now, whatever you guys, it's just a matter of, the whole discussion has been around trying to save money. So,
Just knowing what
the
our,
other thing that I haven't discussed, that there's a prepayment discount, which I know Bartlett just did a prepayment discount, which they paid for it ahead, which was $18,000 on that particular truck company. I haven't discussed that with any of these yet.
okay,
Kind of somewhat new information for me, but there is a prepayment discount on top of that, so.
all right, between now and November 9th, we have to get a lot of
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
so,
Gotta nail it down.
yep,
I may not have all 3 quotes by November 9th,
mhm,
which I guess doesn't matter, because we're not committing to which one we're buying,
mhm.
right?
The closer you can get, the better we'll be.
I guess, yeah, whatever.
All right, any other comments on that line?
Well, Bartlett gets it all. They get 50% from the state or something,
Yeah.
the grant, 18 off.
Well, there's pros
Figure out
and
a way to
cons.
drop our median income, we can get a grant.
Okay. On to the short-term rentals. So we have 2 new applications today. The first one is for owner Stephen Marquette and Matthew O'Brien at 7D Perlin Lane, map VO2, lot 10-5D. And this is for a 3-bedroom condo, a 3-bedroom septic, 3-bedroom tax card, and they are advertising 3-bedroom sleeps 8. So I will take a motion to approve that short-term rental application.
I'll make a motion to approve 7D Vernon Lane, Marquette and O'Brien for STR.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the second one is Michelle Ramirez and Vincenzo Garganese. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And this is at 28 North Hampshire Ridge, and that is map V7, lot 101. 3-bedroom permit, 3-bedroom septic, 3-bedroom tax card, and limited to 30 and rentals annually because of its timely filing here, and everything else looks good, so I will take a motion to approve that.
Okay, I'll make that motion to approve 28 North Hampshire Ridge Road, Ramirez, Garganese, and their STR.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next thing is pending. We have Carter Notch Inn, we are still waiting for them to file their conditional use permit, and that is with legal. So we need to have that probably resolved by our next meeting. And then Schaffner's have been sent their first violation notice for operating without a conditional use permit, and we have not had a response from them. And then the Nonnies have been sent their first violation notice, and they have responded that they're sending in their conditional use permit application. So pending, and hopefully we will receive those. Any questions on those?
I don't see a question.
Jay?
Yeah.
Where did, Carter end up on that? I didn't follow it. Did
We
they
haven't
end
heard.
up as a
In?
seasonal rental or?
We haven't heard back from them at
Okay.
all on it,
You haven't
so,
heard back?
yeah. Not sure why, I thought we had kind of nailed it down.
So it's still in progress or something?
Right, right.
Probably gonna be dealing with the lawyers on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
I don't know why that's in there. Okay, so we have to sign these, which we can do later. All right, the next thing we have on our agenda today, which we haven't had in quite a while, is a short-term rental complaint. This was filed by Phil Spinney, and also for the same event for Lori Boudreau. And it was an incident that happened with the renters of the property, and the police were also involved in this. So there's a couple of interesting things that we have to discuss on here. Back when the fireworks ordinance was passed, well, let me backtrack. The conditional use permit on this property was issued back in 2020. Since then, we have had a fireworks ordinance that was approved, and this involved a fireworks incident. So that becomes a legal issue where that was. However, normally we wouldn't have a violation notice. However, that since there is an altercation against one of the ordinances, then there can be a violation filed, because approvals can be revoked, or a violation filed for failure to comply with ordinances or with any conditions of approval imposed as part of the conditional use permit. So there is now, because this has been approved on the conditional use permit, there is a statement that says that as a short-term rental conditional use permit owner granted by the town based on this application, it does not relieve me from having to comply with any local ordinances. And then there was something added for all the different ordinances. So at the bottom it says, understand that a fireworks ordinance was adopted at the 2021 annual meeting, and and we are notifying our lodgers and short-term renters and providing a copy of the ordinance. Now, so the ordinance was passed, the conditional use permit was filed prior to the ordinance, but because the ordinance is in fact approved and part of our now town ordinances, it is the responsibility of the property owners to share the ordinance information with the renters and their vacationers. So this is definitely a very unfortunate incident that involved physical altercations, say verbal altercations, not physical. And it was very disturbing for the neighbors that live there full time. Our job is whether or not to consider this an actual complaint and a violation be filed versus a police issue. Any thoughts or comments on what I've said so far?
Keep going.
Well, is it three, it's one complaint at the same, from three different people, obviously.
That's correct.
So it would just be, for me, I would think the violation would be one for the fireworks for sure.
Right.
The other ones, I don't know what to think about those, because what are they, it was more of a police issue than necessarily a STR issue in my mind.
Correct. And,
It wasn't a physical altercation.
No.
no, I
This
said
was a
physical, and I
verbal.
please want to
Was it
correct that, it
verbal?
was a verbal altercation, yes. I agree with you on that, I think that the meaning of the conditional use permit for a property owner is to share the information with their renters and make sure that they do everything they can to abide by it. As an owner, you're hopefully renting it to a person and a family or a group that abide by those ordinances. And unfortunately, if they don't, you can be held responsible as the owner of the property if there is a violation of an ordinance. As far as the police report goes, that's completely separate as well, because the police were called and were involved in this incident. We always recommend that neighbors and renters and owners involve the police if it's proper to do that. So that if it is a legal altercation or an illegal incident, the police definitely should be involved. This one happened to be both. So I will take a motion to file a violation notice for violating the fireworks ordinance in this instance. Did you have a comment, Ed?
Yeah, that's, so,
This is Ed Harvey, and he's the owner of the short-term rental.
Hi.
Ed Harvey, 7 Balsam Drive, the owner. There is dispute over whether this was fireworks. We went back and forth, I have a text thread, I have pictures, we had the responding officer on the phone multiple times over the day. The family purchased party snacks at a local country store, I'm not sure if it's Jackson or Conway. The responding officer educated me on this because I didn't even know the party snacks were legal. They sound like a .22 rifle when they go off. He carries them for bears, which is an easy scare tactic without using a .22. So they're significant in some respect. They don't fly, they can't fly. The officer was clear with me on this, that they won't work. It has to be snapped. What I don't know, and I wish I could ask, how many pops did you hear? Because I have, not a lot, but paper on my steps and my walkway. They explain this. A 14-year-old going there outside with the party snacks threw at least one off of a rock in my driveway, sort of lining the driveway, a boulder. I don't know that there was this flying object. The complainant was intoxicated. I had him on the phone. It was a ranting, slurred, 30-second swear-filled tirade. I hung up and called the police myself because I wasn't sure that he actually did. The renters also in the text explaining, I think drinking might have been involved, but we really tried to calm it down. They were trying to handle it. The 14-year-old, 100% ill-advised comments, but it starts with a neighbor that is coming across the street yelling, "What the hell are you doing?" This has happened twice on Balsam in 2 different situations, 2 different neighbors, but there needs to be something of an education for the complainers. As much as I've heard about the operators educating the renters and everyone knowing the ordinances, minors have been approached by adults, angry adults, twice on Balsam, this being the second one. The other one was remote control cars 500 feet from another house. As I'm speaking to the responding officer multiple times, he kept emphasizing that I shouldn't even know this happened. It should have been handled through the police. Everything could be really smooth. These renters left the next morning fearing everything that you're reading in there. They had the exact same, vice versa. They're reciprocating. They left. They were really uncomfortable with everything going on. If only my wife hadn't started teaching that week. That was training started for New Hampshire teachers. 5:30 in the morning for her, 5:15. We went to bed. She missed a text of the complainer out on the street, still there, and we didn't call the police because we missed the text. The renter deferred to us instead of calling the police themselves. The responding officer the next day expressed disappointment because he really tried to make them feel welcome and said, if anything else happens, please, by all means call. I will be back up here. He told me if he was going back up there, someone was going back down the hill with him. He was playing at both sides, but whoever went next, this is where it started. I don't know that there was a fireball. I know that there were party snacks. And I don't know that just someone saying, yes, that's what I saw when this thing pops is it. And is there a violation? The police didn't issue anything. It was a warning. But so far as I know, a pretty late warning in terms of this is the ordinance, this is how it has to go. I have since, I mean, I think members know that I really try to stay involved in this. I have banned the party snacks on my property. I'm trying to go above what the town did. I have no interest in a 22 going off in the neighborhood.
Right.
So that's it, but it was allowed at the time, and if that's all that it was, then there wasn't a fireworks violation.
I'm just gonna step back a little and say that there were 3 complaints, not 2, but there were 3 people that complained, and I'm not gonna even involve the condition of the complainants, okay? Because there were different people here, so
when
excuse me for just a
Who's
second.
the third?
Let
I
him
have
finish,
no
please.
idea who this third.
No, we
Ed,
speak, you
please,
speak. We
yeah,
speak, you speak.
let me finish here, okay? So it was a lot of verbal going back and forth. And yes, it's a highly volatile area up there, and there have been a lot of different incidents and things, and there are definitely 2 sides to every story. The fact that the police were called, there's all circumstantial information here that you missed a text, the police were called, there's all 2 sides to every story. What's happened though is there's some serious allegations here, okay?
I don't
Well,
know
go
what
ahead.
they are. So let's talk about the due process portion of this. I only know the complaint was filed. I'm aware of my property, I'm educated on what happened in August.
Right.
It's now the end of October. I only know this was filed because I looked at e-news Friday at 7, which is after hours. We're talking Monday at 9 before I can talk to someone. It just says, complaint 7 Balsam Harvey. I didn't know if this was noticed last week or August. I don't know what this third one is, other than possibly the other neighbor that wasn't there for the beginning of the incident.
Okay,
And
so,
then started filming a minor on my property the next day. I'm well versed on this situation, but I had no idea this was coming.
and I do
And
want
the
to.
town never notified me.
And I do want to thank you for that input, because we do probably need to change our procedure of when we get complaints in and notifications, so that it's not just showing up in your e-news and you may or may not be aware of it. So I appreciate that, and we will work to change our process,
I
so
still haven't
it's.
read the third. I mean, I think that's if there's a complaint issued against me, isn't it within my right to know, to have a copy of this? I received the other 2 when I asked, but no one mentioned the third. Did it show up later?
No, she decided she sent it in, she had some information on it, involving some names that she pulled out of and resent it in, so it came in later this afternoon. So I will give you a copy of them, but it's the same
But it's after
incident,
the fact.
it's the same incident.
I know that it is, but she's not there for the fireworks, so what are we actually talking about? The responding officer said everybody to your side of the street, and the original complainer is out ranting at 10:30 at night back and forth to the other property like phones don't exist, and has a stare down with my renter who's in the doorway of a 50-foot setback dwelling. He is no threat. He was there because he feared he would lose a deposit on damage and something would be done when they left. His family's at dinner. And he stayed behind to literally guard my property because this was just out of hand.
Right. And
But none of that has to do with fireworks. That is someone going across and scaring someone, and a minor said something ill-advised, and this is what goes on for the rest of the evening. If, after the warning, because it is in this original one, if the fear described here is real and threat is something, where are the police? Why isn't Phil Spinney calling the police again between 7 and 10:30 instead of staring someone down on the street?
I don't have any answers for that. The complaint was filed with his facts stated, which you have a copy of now. So it was obviously an unfortunate incident for all parties involved. Your renters, you, the Spinneys, and the neighbors. So thoughts on the facts here, guys?
Yeah, I think the thing that we're going off of is the complaint specifically mentioned bottle rockets type of fireworks. That's what we got. We don't know if there's snaps. We didn't know about anything about snaps until you brought it up. Okay? But that's what we're going off as a bottle rocket, which is considered as a firework. Now, we haven't seen the police report. We haven't talked to the police. Maybe that's something we need to do, investigate this. But that's what we were going off as fireworks, period.
I completely understand your point of view on that, I do. This is where I'm trying to figure out what is what. That if you come up and say, hey, something just went off and I said party snaps, and he says, no, it's a fireball that flew, I don't know what to do. There is a police report. I don't know why we're doing I found out yesterday that I had to be up here, and no one is looking at what the police actually dealt with. There's a lot of stuff left out here, including the phone call from me to the neighbor in the middle of this, and the officer went over and spoke to both sides. It wasn't that simple. It was stern, and both sides are there, but I don't think there's a violation for the rest of it, to be honest. My original notes were, what am I in violation, and I wanted to just get to the fireworks.
Right,
and
I agree with you on that, because like we say, you can file a complaint, but if there's no violation of the short-term rental ordinance, then we won't be issuing a violation. So we're very clear, I think, on that part, so I appreciate that.
You know, we were in contact the last couple of days. It's been frustrating not having the information, and then to actually take the day off, get up here, and then have a mysterious third complaint that's pulled and not here and it's issued late.
Okay.
There's no way we can go up against this. Just give me the warning, and you'll give me the fine, and you'll take the permit, strike 1, 2, 3, every time they want.
Thank you.
And there's also a time period of which to appeal the complaint to. It's not like this is the final thing, like we issue a complaint today and it's dead.
Right.
And you have no choice. You have a time period, I believe it's 30 days or 60 days?
I believe it's 30 days.
30 days. So you didn't have to come up here and do this today because of that policy that we had in place. It is a 30-day window to have any objections to the complaint that you wish to file. It wasn't something that had to be done today. It's always that is part of the process.
I appreciate that. I can't imagine in any circumstance, be it court here, that I'm trying to win an appeal on something that was decided without my involvement. That feels ridiculously one-sided. As it is, the complaint was filed a month after the event happened, and then the town has it for a few weeks, and then it just lands. I think I'm providing some pretty good information that wasn't in there, considering that I found out about this
Right, and again, I really appreciate the timing of this, and that we will improve that moving forward. I asked and answered, if I can say that. And I appreciate that you came up here to represent this. What we do moving forward is, I don't feel like we need to get a copy of the police report, or I feel like we can talk to Chief Pearlie and find out if they do have any proof that it was fireworks or if it was snaps, and go from there and make a decision on whether or not it is a legitimate fireworks. But other than that,
So
I
snaps as
think
loud
that's
as they,
really the case.
snaps as loud as they can be are not considered fireworks in any.
No, it's a different class of fireworks. They have Class B, Class C, Class D fireworks, and it's how they're rated. It's like sparklers, are considered fireworks really technically.
So that would
they're
fit.
probably more dangerous than anything else.
So
to be
snaps
quite
would
honest.
fit within our ordinance.
You can
You would
have
use
snaps,
snaps.
but not bottle rockets and stuff. So, what are you getting ready to order for July 4th?
I'm unsure about that.
All right, and again, I appreciate you representing. We will improve our process and make sure there's proper notification, and then, or timely notification, I'll put it that way. And then we will talk to Chief Pearlie and see if there's any verification of the fireworks, and we'll revisit this through communication with you.
I appreciate it.
Is there anything else that you have a question on?
Well, only that all of this here is public matter now, right? So that we could pull a quote out of this thing and.
As long as it's not naming any minors, which I don't think it is, because we don't want to do that. I don't think they knew the name of the
The young
renters or
man
anything
came out
like
at
that.
the end of the driveway and said, quote unquote, "If you touch her, I
I'm
will
going to
kill you."
And that's what the minor said, that
He's
was
14,
threatening.
yes.
So that probably got some people a little
It
afraid.
did, and
Just
that
watch
is
TV
why,
any day and just
yes,
see what's
and
going
that
on
is
with
why
them.
you call the police about something related to fireworks, because I had this individual, the complainant, on the phone, and
He
I'll
was,
tell you now, if that's how he was speaking to me across the street, coming towards my child out there as the property owner, I would at least have my hairs up.
Mhm.
It wasn't pleasant.
Okay.
And the police, I'll quote, he's not in a good place. What am I to do with it? It is what it is. A 14-year-old said something ill-advised
Right.
when an adult did something ill-advised. But it is a reaction, not the
Yeah.
inception.
Anything else,
No.
thoughts?
Good.
All right, we will be in touch and communicating on this, and I appreciate your input.
Okay, thank you.
All right. To the agenda.
Where'd you drive up from, or?
Durham. My parents are staying up the way, so I'll still make something out.
All right, Kevin Bennett, any issues or thoughts to talk about on any of the building and driveway permits?
No, everything's pretty straightforward. On the second to last one,
Mhm.
the water precinct had a concern about the gazebo. So I met with Scott and Kevin, and actually they're having a meeting Monday night, and I'm gonna go to the meeting and, we're gonna discuss that. It has to do something with setbacks. The property line up there, it's somewhat defined. And I guess for the last, I would say the last 35 years, many of the houses had either gardens or dog houses or sheds or a lot of stuff basically could be on the water precinct's property. So, and over the years, there have been some kind of boundary adjustments and stuff, so it's, like I said, there's a lot going on there. And this gazebo was gonna be put back along, pretty close to the property line, but I don't know how far it was gonna encroach on that 25-foot setback. Same thing, really not defined, so, we can basically get the abutters, which one abutter's fine with it, the precinct, get them to okay it. If not, then I'll have to go to ZBA. So, anyway, but the rest of the permits granted, the addition and all the work on the house is on the original footprint.
Okay.
Even so, a lot of the house is non-conforming, but being on the same footprint, there's no issue.
Okay. Thank you.
And then you mentioned the driveway permits.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I think we had that meeting about like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
We still need to work on it because we just had a job come up. They don't have a septic plan yet. The driveway ends in a parking lot, so it's not on a private road / public road.
Mm-hmm.
The driveway is 1,800 feet long.
Is this the one that they're doing the radiant on, or is this a different
No,
one?
it's totally
Oh,
different. Yeah. So, like I said, the driveway is 1,800
was
feet
gonna
long,
say,
so it's
you know.
more like it's
Yeah.
more like a road. So without the driveway permit, and without a building permit, and they want to start working on it, we wouldn't know about it unless they told us about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to get eyes on it earlier. So I think with this, when we discuss this new driveway permit procedure, this should be brought up about, making sure that if people are going to be doing jobs like this, that we, somehow they get on the radar early on and,
Yeah.
change the driveway permit so that it reflects this kind of job. It's kind of a unique job, you know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
because it's, and the owner owns both lots, and there's a lot going on, so
Gotcha.
we're working on it.
Keep us posted.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, upcoming meetings. We have Tuesday, November 9th at 3:30, and that will be live and on Zoom. And then Tuesday, November 23rd is the week of Thanksgiving. We're going to cancel that meeting. One will be out of town, and the other two are going to be preparing dinner so we're just gonna cancel that. And then Tuesday, December 14th and 28th, and that will be live and via Zoom, I'm sure, by that time. And then as we move on, January 11th, and then January 25th will be the meeting plus the budget hearing, and then February 1st will be the meeting plus the second budget hearing, and then February 22nd. I don't even like saying those months yet. I'm not ready for it. Emily, I noticed you popped in. Did you have any comments for updates or anything?
So yeah, sorry, I came in a little late. I was in touch with Julie. There was, it was brought to my attention that it might be worth taking a look at, just the town policies regarding COVID exposures. And I just got some additional information from the Municipal Association in terms of, just some updates, lessons learned, you know, employers and town employees. So I can share that information with you all. And I'm gonna be around, you know, the offices here tomorrow, working on some different things, CMD related. So
Great.
I'll share that information with you, and then we can go from there. And unless you all have any questions for me.
No, just thanks for keeping us healthy and informed.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing that we're going to have coming up is on Saturday, November 6th, from 2 to 5 at the fire station. We'll be having a public information session, and there will be more information coming out on that, as well as a video that Hank Benish has done with, along with Jay Henry and a few other folks, talking about the fire station and its deficiencies, et cetera. And then we'll have the open house to show some plans on what the feasibility committee was working on over the past year and a half. So more to come, but that will be on November 6th from 2 to 5 at the fire station. Any other public comment? Nobody online here? All right.
I had one, just on,
go ahead.
just something that always, it's one of those things I think of after the season, of course, but, you know, by the covered bridge, there's a lot of cars that park on that dirt side by the
Yes.
covered bridge motel, and it gets quite troublesome backed up there. You know, I don't know what we can do in the future, but I'd like to have something, I don't wanna put up ugly no parking
more
signs,
signs.
but, you know, maybe
Yeah.
some nice barbed wire that goes across, no, I mean, that's.
Decorative fencing.
Decorative fencing to
Yes.
keep people from driving on
Yeah,
that.
I
It
agree
is
with you.
irritating. And, you know, the traffic gets backed up wicked on Pumpkin People Day.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I was thinking of, we used to have spots over where the bus pulls in.
Right, and lines. You mean?
Lines
Yeah.
for parking spots there, and they're no longer there because they repaved. And something to think about, maybe asking the state to see if they can put those back in and encourage people to use those
Yeah, that would be nice.
as an alternative.
Buses
I can never remember this before Pumpkin People come out.
Right,
though.
I know, that is it. I took a picture of how many
irritating.
cars were backed up there the other day, and it was really amazing. There were a lot of people in town, which is great. It was nice weather. We were very fortunate to have that, so. All right, you'll handle that maybe with the highway department?
To talk about what we're gonna do
Lines
to
and-
keep people out of there.
Lines and barbed wire? Okay,
And I think it's a state road, so.
yes, maybe they can, or you guys will
Alright.
call DOT. All right, we have a non-public that we have to have, so I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting at 4:25 and go into a non-public.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, no.
Second,
All in favor?
All right, and that is for what numbers?
And